Hey everyone, watch these 12 slime hacks. See which ones work and see which ones don't. First one we're going to make is liquid glass. So you're going to use a 1-to-1 ratio of glue and water. In this case, I'm using a 1/4 cup of glue and a 1/4 cup of water. You want to make sure that you stir it up. Don't stir it up too aggressively so that you create bubbles, but just nice and slow so that they do combine together. This slime, I'm going to use borax. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon and 1 cup of warm water. You're going to stir the water until the borax has dissolved. I personally find that borax works the best for making slime, but I know that a lot of people either don't have access to it or they just prefer not to use it. So you're going to carefully pour it into your glue, little bits at a time, and start stirring slowly. You'll see that it turns into slime pretty quickly, so again, you want to make sure that you're adding little bits of the borax solution at a time. I'm using my hand to mix it up just a little bit better, and I'm going to keep adding my borax solution little bits at a time just until everything has absorbed into slime. Okay, after mixing and pouring in your borax, you should end up with some pretty nice slime. So this is what I have so far, and you'll see that I do have some bubbles, so I'm just gonna let mine sit overnight, and you'll notice that it turns into a nice liquid glass slime and all the bubbles will have disappeared. Okay, so here it is. It's so clear that it looks like it's just the bowl, you guys, but this is the same slime. And like I said, I just let it sit overnight, and this is what it should look like. Now we're going to experiment adding sand. So first I have your basic Kinetic sand. Second, I have just plain sand, which I got from Michael. So it is colored, but it is just plain sand. And then the last one is also Kinetic sand, but it's their beach texture one. So the little pebbles are a little bit bigger than the Kinetic sand that I originally showed you, the blue one. Okay, so let's see if we can make some sand slime or slime sand. Okay, so your Kinetic sand, you're just going to mix it in with your slime. It is almost a 1-to-1 ratio, and I'm just doing little bits, you guys, so that, you know, in case it doesn't work, you don't want to waste your stuff too much. So you'll notice that the sand does fall out a little bit, but that's okay. You can just pick it back up, and you just want to make sure you mix it really well with the slime. And you guys, the result of this is so cool. So here we have our blue Kinetic sand slime, and what it does, you guys, it actually makes the slime a little bit stronger, and it has that sort of sandy texture. So this stuff is pretty neat. It's definitely worth trying out, and again, just use little bits at a time so you don't waste your materials. But I am very happy with how this turned out, and it stretches, and it has a cool texture, and it's slimy and sandy all at the same time. Okay, so let's try our little bit bigger sand pebbles with our slime and see if it works as well. So again, just taking the time to mix your sand and your slime together very well, trying to get all the sand in there so it sticks to the slime, and we should have a pretty good outcome. Okay, so similar to the blue Kinetic sand, this stuff has the texture of slime and sand combined, right? So it's a little bit scratchy like sand, but it's super stretchy like slime. And again, it kind of makes the slime a little bit stronger when you have that sand in there. So this is looking pretty cool. Okay, and our last sand that we have here is just our basic sand, so it's not Kinetic. And I'm just going to dab the slime into it and see if it has the same outcome as the Kinetic sand. Okay, I am also liking this as well. It actually feels quite similar to the ones with Kinetic sand. It probably is a little bit less stretchy because it is just basic sand, but it still has that super cool sand texture while being slimy at the same time. So I'm really happy with how all three of these sands have worked out really well to enhance our slime experience. Show you another type of slime using white glue along with baking soda and contact solution. So I'm going to use a 1:1 ratio for my glue and water, similar to the borax solution. So stirring that up until it's completely mixed together, and then we're going to add our contact solution and baking soda to turn it into slime. You just need a teeny tiny bit of baking soda, and I think I have a half teaspoon there. And you're just going to use as much contact solution as you need to dissolve the stuff. And then similar to the slime that I made previous to this one, you're just going to add it slowly until you feel like you have enough of it to turn into slime. So for those of you who have never used contact solution to make slime, you do need the baking soda. I made the mistake once of forgetting that ingredient, and it just does not turn into slime. So just make sure that you have all the ingredients before you make your slime, and baking soda is required to turn this into slime. So I'm just going to keep adding contact solution, and let's watch this stuff turn into slime. Okay, here is my slime. I'm really happy with how this turned out. So this is super easy, you guys, if you have these ingredients at home and you prefer not to use borax or laundry detergent. Now we're going to add some cool things to see if we can enhance this slime. First, we're going to add Crayola's Model Magic. I actually came across this in one of my previous videos by accident, and it actually ends up being the coolest thing ever. So Model Magic is actually already pretty slimy in a way, stretchy as you can see, but I wanted to see if we could make it even more slimy. Always a reminder to not put too much slime in at first in case the ratio is a little bit off. So just mix this up and you're gonna have a pretty cool thing to play with afterwards. Check it out. So stretchy, and this stuff is so smooth, you guys, if you've ever played with Model Magic, and now it's extra stretchy. Highly recommended to do this. Okay, next we have some Mad Matter, which is very similar to Kinetic sand. It is made up of sand, but there's also clay in it, so it actually gives this sort of doughy, really soft texture. You almost think it is more like a Play-Doh instead of a sand, but it does have sand in it. So let's see if we can turn this into a slimy Mad Matter. Okay, so I'm going to use my white slime just like I did with the Model Magic, and I think it's going to work, and I start mixing, and you'll see that eventually it just is not mixing together, but I figured why not try another slime, because I don't know, I had a feeling that this would be very similar to Kinetic sand and it would turn into a super cool slimy texture. So I try hard with this one and it's just not working, so then eventually I bring out my clear slime again, and you'll see if it works with that stuff. Okay, so as you can see, this is definitely a complete fail. So let's try this stuff again with my liquid glass. Okay, well, as you can see, the liquid glass was definitely more successful than the previous white slime that I made. Not really sure why. I think the liquid glass definitely was a little bit more slimy than the white glue that I made, but this stuff is so awesome, you guys. You must try this. I highly recommend this stuff as well. So that's Mad Matter, and then hopefully you guys have pretty good slime that you can mix it in with. Okay, and just out of curiosity, I had to try Play-Doh. Now, I had no idea if it was going to work or not, so I figured why not try it and just see. So obviously, grab some Play-Doh, grab some slime, and just mix it in together, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's looking like all I've made here is some really sticky Play-Doh. So it is mixing in, you could say, but it hasn't changed the Play-Doh into a super fun sliming texture. It's just kind of like this sticky, sticky Play-Doh, kind of sticky mess. So I would say this was a fail as well, unless you're looking for sticky Play-Doh to play with, but I don't know if anyone out there is doing that. So yeah, do not mix Play-Doh with your slime. Okay, so moving on, I was curious to see if I could make a fluffy glitter glue slime using detergent. So I had this vision that it would come out as this super awesome turquoise slime because I'm using green glue and my detergent's blue, right? So naturally you think blue and green would become turquoise and it would be fluffy and amazing. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, so now it's just kind of gotten to be white with all the shaving cream, but maybe if we add the detergent, it'll change that, right? So here I go, and unfortunately, after stirring and then adding some more detergent, not only does it not turn turquoise, but it just doesn't turn into slime. So safe to say that this definitely did not work. Let's move on to a different type of slime. Okay, so I'm still trying the glitter glue and I'm gonna try to make it foamy again, but using the foamy hand soap along with the baking soda and contact lens solution method. So I don't know if you guys have ever tried making slime with glitter glue, but it's definitely quite a bit different than other types of glue. That's why I was curious to see if I can make these. Okay, so I'm using a 1:3 ratio, so 1 scoop of glue and then 3 scoops of the foamy soap. And if you don't have soap, you can always use foamy hand wash, or I should say just foam hand wash. And then you're going to stir it up like I'm doing here. And don't be too aggressive because you don't want all the bubbles to go away, but just sort of like scooping it and flipping it in. And then we're going to add our ½ teaspoon of baking soda here, and then just dissolve that with some contact lens solution. And just like any other time that you would add stuff to glue, you want to add it slowly so that you don't add too much at a time. And let's see if this stuff actually works. Okay, after stirring it up a bit, I'm really happy to see that this is turning into slime. So at this point, I'm just going to keep adding contact lens solution until I have the slime texture that I'm happy with. So I don't want it sticking to my hands, but obviously you don't want it too hard either. This did require a lot of contact lens solution, so you want to make sure that you are ready to commit to that amount. I almost would say like 1/4 of a bottle. It just seemed like a lot. So I think it's the glitter glue. I don't know, it's something about that glitter glue makes everything just a little bit different, and all the ratios just a little bit different than the regular white glue and clear glue. But yeah, this stuff is quite sticky, so just keep squirting that stuff on and you'll see how it actually works out. Okay, so after a lot of mixing and a lot of contact lens solution, this is finally starting to look like slime. Very happy with how this is feeling and the texture. So it is still foamy, and this was made with glitter glue. I wish I would have added a little bit more food coloring, but of course you guys can do that now that you know what it looks like. So squishy, foamy, very cool stuff. So again, if you guys want to make this a little bit more visually stimulating to look at, you can add more food coloring and more glitter. Okay, and finally the last thing I'm going to show you is, can you add Orbeez to slime? Now this slime in particular is quite slimy, and I mean by like wet from all the contact lens solution. But I'm going to go ahead and add my Orbeez anyways. Now for those out there who want to know where I get the Orbeez from that are in the container, I purchased that at Toys R Us. So here we go, we're smishing our Orbeez in, and I'm just going to fold them in and see how this goes. Now, as you can see, the tricky thing with Orbeez is that they're kind of slimy themselves. They don't really stay in too well. So I don't really know if I'd recommend this unless you are really willing to sort of chase after your Orbeez. It is a super cool texture. As you can see, a lot of them do stay in. So maybe that's the trick. Maybe you just don't put that many in, and the ones that do fall out, you just keep like picking up like I am right now. So, you know, worth a try if you have Orbeez, and if your slime isn't too you know, slimy, I guess you want a little bit more of a sticky slime, and they'll stick right in. But as you can see, they are staying in, and this slime even is like a little bit wet. So if you guys can find yourself or make yourself a slime that's just a little bit stickier, you should be totally fine keeping these Orbeez in there. Those are my 12 slime hacks. Some worked, some didn't. Let me know which one your favorite one was in the comments. Make sure you guys share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, you guys.